Hey Josh, are we
Hey,
live?
I don't know. Are we
I
alive?
don't know. I don't. Are we alive?
I don't know. We
I
got
mean,
two geeks, one mic in
I
the chat. We
we do have
got
2 weeks, one
he
mic.
who comes with the wine in the chat. We
You
got
know who else we
Beth
have
Doman
live?
in the
We
chat.
have Beth Doman in the chat. Oh my, Beth, what are you doing here? Don't you have your own show?
안녕하세요.
Annyeong. I don't know what that
Yes.
said.
Good night. Good evening. It is the Black Tower Podcast. It's the night of the Black Tower Podcast where we dole out hot, fresh taint to our patrons first, and then to
Indeed,
everyone else secondly. Which,
except for
don't
last
get
week.
me wrong, the taint is still good. It's still potent. It's just not hot and fresh. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's not hot and fresh. I am Josh. I am your Sorovan Mahale. Normally, you are also graced by the beautiful face of Andrew, the Bijan Mahale, who is feeling a bit under the weather. He has succumbed to the taint in so many ways. And tonight, I decided I needed an equally sexy face, maybe even a sexier face, as some might say. And I brought in BTP's good friend and fact checker, Morshadi. Sexy Morshadi.
Thank
Your
you, thank you. Sort of
your
on my hail, Josh.
your
Can
name, sir, is incorrect. Let me
what?
fix that for you. Got it.
Oh, thank you so much. Sexy body, the fact checker the hell. Thank you so much for having me on the Black Tower podcast. I would thought you said you couldn't hear me. People have to be able to hear
Oh,
me.
people do. It's
Okay,
true.
that's
It's
good.
true. People.
That's good.
It's true.
That's
People
good.
do.
Okay. All right.
What about you?
Hello, everybody. How are you? Yes, I can hear you. I don't know if
Okay.
they can hear you. Can everyone hear us?
Can,
I hope they
can
can hear
everyone
us.
hear us? Can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me
Good.
now? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Good. That's a reference, people.
Oh, Morshadi, what's going on in your life right now, buddy? What's happening? What's
You
good
know,
in
I'm um
your
I'm
hood?
I'm going through some things. I'm going through some changes. Life is just like being life.
Changes.
Life is being life. Work is like whatever, right? I don't want to work, and I just want to do things that make me happy. But sometimes we just don't get what we want.
How's your only feet?
Wow, I like teed you up on that one, man. Damn, you are not sauced up enough. Is all I'm saying.
I mean, it's legend.
Speaking of which, I went to go buy beer and didn't go get it before this. I'm going to go run and get my taint. I'll be
Go
right
run and get
back,
your taint
everybody.
while I talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is if yeah, just wanting to do hood rat shit with your friends. Why can't we all just do hood rat shit with our friends? That's what we want. That's what we want in life. But if you feel like you're getting a little tired, feel like you're just like not feeling it, your focus is fuzzy, your vision is hazy, arms, palms sweaty, vomit on your sweater already, mom's spaghetti, then you need to go to w.gg and you need to get yourself some W because it's amazing. It's gamer fuel. It'll bring you the focus. It'll bring you the energy. No sugar. So there's no jitters, no crash. It's goodness. And it's a hell of a lot cheaper than buying the stuff in the cans. Just saying. And if you use code BTP, you get 25% off. And that's not bad. Oh, wait. 10% off. Check the description below. Oh, God. It's been a long day, guys. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Like I said, Andrew's feeling under the weather. So I had to bring in the A team, right? When the B team is sick, you got to bring in the A team. And brought in the A team. And now we're going to talk about a couple of things. Mathing is so hard. Thank you, Beth, for understanding. You are one of the greats, and I appreciate you. Tonight, we've got a subject that is near and dear to my heart. That is a gorgeous beer, my good sir. What is that? Is that a stout?
That is 2 Guinness stouts in one mug.
Wow.
2 Guinness, 1 mug. That's all I'm saying.
2 Guinness, 1 mug. Ah. Oh yeah. He who comes with the wine, you are in for it. If you want to watch our episodes live, raw, unfiltered, as they happen, you got to be a patron. And you can do that for as little as $1 a month. And it's super fun. You're going to love it. There's all kinds of fun benefits.
Or let Josh control everything and it goes live, on Tuesday last week.
Goes live immediately without anyone ever even knowing. Let's see. Did I do that today? No, I did not do that today. Today I did good.
Good job, Josh.
Today I did good. I did not put it out there for everyone in the world to see as it was happening, but that's okay. Because what I did there was I turned that into an opportunity, because even in our failures, there are things that we can learn, people.
Indeed. Unless you are Bilal, who is our topic of the night.
That fucking guy, man. More shoddy.
Yes.
I don't have Andrew's soundboard. So do you want to give everyone a live Sexy More Shoddy spoiler warning?
Tonight's spoiler warning is brought to you by...
I put you on the spot.
Tonight's spoiler warning is brought to you live by More Shoddy, the fact checker Mahale of the Flat Tower podcast. We will be discussing... Are we discussing full spoilers?
Yes.
We will be discussing all spoilers from the tip all the way down the shaft. From Eye of the World
to the base,
to Memory of Light, New Spring, including Origins, Encyclopedia, as well as any outside influences, as well as any real life comparisons. So if you have not read all of the books, all of the notes, or anything else that may come up on this podcast, understand you have been warned.
You might even be spoiled. And for those of you who don't know, More Shoddy often uses his melodious talents as a voice actor on the Beth Doman streaming channel. So definitely go check that out. That's usually going down on some Twitch and some TikTok.
Indeed.
Oh my God, it is a rare moment at the Black Tower, which we can discuss New Spring.
I discuss with New Spring with Andrew all the time because I don't care. He's had how many years? 2004?
But now you're not going to get this look.
It's been 20 years. It's time for him to read New Spring, for fuck's sake. At the very least, the comic. Maybe we should get him the comic as like a Christmas gift.
Dude, that would be so cool. I love it. Okay, so tonight, as Sexy More Shoddy said, we are discussing Bilal. Bilal
the Netweaver.
The Netweaver. Or the Envious. Dude, how bad does that have to be that you're one of the most feared people of an age and they literally name you the Envious? They're like, this guy is super jealous, so that's just going to be his name.
Well, here's the thing is, you know how, what is it? What's William Shakespeare's line? First, let's kill all the lawyers. That's what happened to Bilal. This was at the end of The Dragon Reborn. It was the end of a triple era, right? Yeah, Eye of the World, Great Hunt, and Dragon Reborn. Those 3 books encompass a type of innocence for all of the characters, and it was truly the last real time they were all together, right? They split off. Shit happened to all of them. Lots of extra trauma happened to all of them. Lots of things happened. From that point on, Shadow Rising, poof, gone. So what did we have to do to cap off that? let's kill the lawyer. Because here's the thing.
Kill the lawyer in the immortal words of Rufio.
Yes.
In the immortal words of Rufio, kill the lawyer.
There you go.
You know what I'm talking about. Some of you are
indeed. If you haven't watched Hook, if you haven't watched Robin Williams play Peter Pan,
oh my god,
get off this channel right now. No, actually, no, don't get off this channel. After this show, after watching this, go watch Hook.
Go watch Hook. I might
I
actually.
just learned. So you know that last scene where he like is trying to pick out who the next leader is going to be because he's going back home.
Yeah.
He improvised that. The kids did not know who he was going to pick.
So I mean, I'm not surprised that he improvised it, but when you take into account that the kids didn't know, because Thud was like he was perfect. That was so perfect.
Oh, it was a natural reaction. God damn it, Robin Williams.
And Rufio is also known to this younger generation as Prince Zuko.
Indeed.
So he's the voice actor for Prince Zuko in the animation. But this is not the Robin Williams podcast, although
it's not. Even though we should have a Robin Williams podcast.
We should have a Robin Williams. I'm going to put that on my note of good ideas. No, Bilal. There it is. Bilal. All right, let's give it a good one. Bang! Love it. I love it.
All right.
Perfect.
So,
okay.
Age of Legends. This starts back at the Age of Legends. Who is Bilal in the Age of Legends? In the Age of Legends, he has 3 names. His name is Duram Ladel Cham.
Oh, he must have been wealthy if he could get
3
names.
He was someone of very great renown. And the reason he was of great renown is he was what he was a person who was essentially represented someone in the court of law. He was a fucking lawyer, all right? That's what he was. He was a lawyer.
I mean, he's an attorney. And which an attorney. Again, this I love doing these deep dives, even when it's like not necessarily like Bilal, who is literally described as the Forsaken we know the least about.
Yeah.
But he's an attorney, and I giggle at this because Paradisen, the height of the Age of Legends, humanity at its most enlightened, and you still have lawyers. Why?
You still have lawyers.
Why?
Court of law.
What do you need lawyers for? Super enlightened society.
Well, they had binders, didn't they?
Binders. I'm just saying. I'm just
saying they didn't use those binders for the court of law, did they?
Let's get a realistic picture of what the Age of Legends looked like.
Mm-hmm.
It was not this beautiful everybody having mass orgies every weekend. Maybe there were some mass orgies, but not many. And they were still exclusive. You had to get invites. And who does not get invites to those? Me. So, and you should.
I mean, you should too. Do you see that beard?
Thank you.
Like, look at that. You could use that as a feather tickler. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, back to Bilal. In the Age of Legends, he represented, according to the Wheel of Time Companion, I'm going to read this verbatim. He represented people in courts of law and did it well enough to earn a 3rd name. And before he turned to the Shadow, he was a leader in the fight against the Shadow.
That seems
he was well respected enough. He was well respected enough in that court of law to earn a 3rd name. To be able to do that, you have to have a long-term history of doing good works in whatever you're doing then. That means whatever reason we can think of in the Age of Legends that you would need a court of law. What reasons? The only punishments we ever learn about in the Age of Legends are things like the binders. The only times we've ever heard it referenced to was Cimarog, right? Where she was doling out pain to her patients, and they were going to bind her from being able to do that. So usually it's cases of going against culture. So a lot of these cases very likely are just breaking of likely a defense Not really. It probably wasn't. There are no prosecution lawyers there. The prosecution lawyers were the Aes Sedai. His purpose in the Age of Legends as a defense lawyer was defending who it was that was being brought up on charges. He was a defense lawyer.
Yeah. Okay. Which, I mean, okay, look, in a just society, in an enlightened society, there needs to be a good defense, right? Everyone deserves to be well and competently defended.
Yep.
In a situation like that. So, as Beth brings up a good point, even in an enlightened society, you're still going to have civil disputes. And I think, Two Geeks brings up a good point. Bilal was a court-appointed attorney. Only, I think a lot of times you get this sort of stigma of being a court-appointed attorney that they're like incompetent, right? That they're not that great at their jobs. I would actually argue that they are that great at their jobs because they're literally the attorneys in the trenches. They don't have necessarily a specialty. They've just got to be a jack of all trades and get in there and provide a competent defense.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, though, you have someone that sort of rises to the top, and that is Mr. Durham Ladell Cham, who just becomes so great. Maybe he was Durham Ladell, and they're like, you know what? Somebody get this man a Cham. Maybe he did some legal representation for Rand, or not Rand, but Luz Theron, and Luz was like, you know what? You are so awesome. You deserve to be a Cham. I'm going to give you a Cham. There's your Cham right there. Was it Cham that was given to him? It doesn't say, but I feel like Cham would be the one.
The third name, the last name is always the one that's given to them, which is interesting because that's the thing. It's like this is another section of it coming from the Origins book. So Durham Ladell Cham, this is actually listed under that. So the original name of Bilal. His surname reflects Cham. Almost who's laughing at me because I'm now reading Harvey Specter. Yes,
Harvey fucking Specter. He was Harvey Specter.
He was Harvey Specter.
You know what?
Which, by the way, that actor. Oh my god, I would love him
for Bilal. Which sucks.
No, just in the Wheel of Time universe. I would love him to be in the Wheel of Time universe. Just like
love him too.
At all for anything.
I don't think we're going to get Bilal in the TV show, though, so he would definitely have to play something else.
No, yeah. But to get back, so the original name of Bilal, his surname reflects Cham, more often spelled Ham, the youngest of the three sons of Noah and father Canaan. In Genesis 9:20-27, Cham sees his father naked, a transgression that results in Noah cursing his descendants, beginning with Canaan. So, now, I'm going to be getting into some things here for a second.
Do it.
This is all religious shit. Okay.
Dive into it.
Now the curse of Ham and the Canaan was essentially he was that actor who played Louis Litt, man. I love him so much because he played the shittiest motherfucker, but he also was such a good actor. Yeah, he was such a dick, but also great.
But
essentially the curse of Canaan. Yeah.
I mean, we all love a dick from time to time.
Yep. Exactly. Everyone loves a good dick, right?
Everyone loves a good dick.
Everyone loves a good dick. And so the Canaanites and the curse of Ham, essentially in the Bible, was essentially just a racist stereotype. Okay, go for it. Was a racist stereotype of essentially a curse of dark-hued people. And of liars and things of that nature. So now, whether or not Robert Jordan meant that to be a representation of what that character is supposed to represent, I don't know. But we know Robert Jordan goes always a little deeper in his stuff. So that is just something. And Michael Livingston wouldn't have put it in there if it didn't actually mean something, in my opinion. Um, I know his house. His booze is like right there. Where the hell did he? Why is he going so long? Anyway, Richard. Yes, Richard. But back to so his darkness. That darkness metaphor there is really interesting, because it could just be a reference to the fact that like it just be like maybe he's saying that it's something internal. Maybe it's something he was always meant to be. It was something maybe he's like he was a criminal defense lawyer. He's been like so inundated by people that were always there. That's why he turned to the dark. Who knows, right? But wow.
You know what? Here's the thing. Here's what I love about this opening this vein. You bring up Origins of the Wheel of Time, which brings up a whole new section of like amazingness that comes along with the Wheel of Time. There are so many different like religious tie-ins, even surprisingly. Or not surprisingly, but with a surprising amount of like broad depth, right? Like Robert Jordan does a really great job of like covering a long and wide berth of different religious and cultural representations in these stories. So it's really, really cool to see tie-ins to like the old Bible and the old scriptures and things like that when this kind of stuff happens. I really, really like that point.
And that's the thing is that's the second notice in the actual Origins, right? Is that Bilal is a based off of a biblical Hebrew word, Belial, meaning worthless, and it's usually used in all those scriptures as kind of like a representation of the devil,
right?
During all that, so like Belial was like in the Age of Legends pretty fucking badass. That's the thing. He's one of the more powerful Forsaken. He's listed as like plus 4/4. Plus
yeah,
4. Plus 4.
Whatever. Yeah.
He is one of the more powerful Forsaken. He is like he should have been motherfucking badass. That's the thing.
Yeah. What.fandom.com has this. Well, I guess it's not originated by them, but there's like a power level plus chart, blah blah blah, and you get people that are plus and minus, and he was plus 4, which maybe one of these days we're going to have an episode to break down the actual mechanics of how they have quantified the actual power channeling, because we've had plenty of discussions about how it's not quantifiable. Whoa, what'd you do there?
Well, so long time ago, Robert Jordan had a blog that he like quantified everyone's power level up through like level 21.
Yeah, I know he like ranked them all.
Yeah, ranked them all. And then there was another one that came out afterwards, and he's like, well, because of the new things, how everything, he essentially retconned himself and he added more, and then there was more people. And so people were like, okay, well, it's actually this, but circle actually here. And so the plus 4 is that actually he should have been here. It's just like a retconny thing. It's just the stupidest shit. Just know that when it comes to that, I think Rand is like plus 2.
Yeah,
and,
I don't know.
Or whatever. But Bilal is still at the time of Dragon Reborn, of who was released, and that at that time, I believe all of them were, but they were still setting up their power bases, was one of the most powerful Forsaken that was actively moving around, and he shouldn't have been taken out by Moiraine. He was bitch slapped into oblivion.
I mean, he was, and here's the thing, like, but to give you an idea of how I'm going to take this opportunity to use it as how significantly intelligent Moraine is. I said what I said. Bilal in the Age of Legends was an actual blade master. Right, and this is not a time in which people fought in battles, fought in wars, and he was like with his friend and colleague Luz Theron Telamon, they revived essentially fencing. They brought back fencing, right?
Yeah.
They both love swords so much, and hard same. Like, I get it. I'm there with you. They bring out the whole. My question is, okay, Shadi, I'm Bilal, you're Luz Theron, right?
Okay.
And I'm like, hey,
yo,
you know, it'd be dope.
What?
If we brought back sword fighting?
That would be fucking awesome.
We would bring back sword fighting, teach people to sword fight. We would do it as like a sport, though, right? Not to like kill people. Right? Let me tell you something. Let
me tell you something. Okay, I had a friend, who got drunk, was at another friend's house, who had swords on the wall. Both of them utterly untrained. What do? Hey, dude, let's get those up. And they were drunk fighting with swords out in the living room. One cuts their hand right across. They had to go to the ER.
As you
That's
do.
Literally what they literally did that. That's what they did. And they went, well, that wasn't too bad. It just makes me sure we're not going to hurt each other. Like, that's real life. Okay.
Now, this is real life shit.
This is real life shit. This is exactly what would have happened. They probably went, oh, fuck, that actually hurts. Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to, like, cover you with a force field of power, and you can cover me with a force field of power. That way, like, we don't hurt each other. That's literally what happened. Yeah, they just played Fruit Ninja
with each other's faces.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, though. Here comes my question, and I'm interested to hear your response to this, because it states that he and Luz Theron Telamon were both blade masters.
Yeah.
How? There's two ways to become a blade master. One, kill another blade master in combat. We know they didn't do that. And two, to be declared a blade master by, what is it, like 6 other blade masters or something?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how?
Well, I would say this.
Did they just go? Is this an Akatar situation where Nesta and her friends are training in the 4th book to become Valkyrie, and it's just like, haha, there's an arbitrary test.
That's basically what I was going to say. He would come with the line, the lawyer made up the rules.
The lawyer,
because here's
the
thing. What did Bran do when he came to the Black Tower for the second time? He dropped off a bunch of fucking dragons and swords and said, "Here, give these to whoever think is ready." There wasn't a fucking test, right? He just was like, "Hand these out, motherfucker." That's exactly what they did. They all said, well, you know what? You're pretty damn good. You're a blade master now. You're pretty good at that. You're a master at that." That's how everyone got a fucking third name in the Age of Legends. Everyone went, "Wow, you're like fucking cool at that. I think this guy should get a third name." What do you think? Like,
well, even in the so this leads into my next question. Are the traditions of blade mastery that are essentially established and or reestablished, because everything that's happened happens again, because it's a wheel, is the origination of blade master, the Heron, at least as an icon for blade master, where does that originate? Does that originate with Bilal?
I don't know, and that's not something I've researched ahead of time, but I would think that it is something in terms of the Blade Master rules.
Right.
It is something that probably was it all, I mean, it honestly all is dictated by organizations and societies, right? There were no organizations and societies for 400 years after the breaking.
Right.
They started reorganizing back up after that.
Right.
During that 400 years, some of the most important things to remember and to do is protect yourself. And personal protection was, things like spears, things like swords, things like weapons. And oral history is important, right?
Yeah.
Way of the Herring, could have been like something, could have been actually a society. We don't know. And that could have been what was listed as something in the Age of Legends, and just an oral history just kept going. We've seen that oral history through Rand's eyes pass through the generations. There wasn't like a fucking holocron that someone found. Like, I mean, technically it is a holocron, but like
it's a
the Gen Aiel passed on that oral history throughout. Wow. Technically, I only have. Thank you very much, Beth. And I am currently digging as we speak. Wow. Like, had an hour to drive home, took a shower. You know what? I'm not even going to get into it. I'm not even going to get into it, Beth. Okay?
Oh, snap.
Just leave me alone. Leave me alone. All right?
Fun story. Right. There were only... Here, quiz for Doug. No looking it up. There were only 5 Blade Masters in the Age of Legends that we know of. 2 of them are Lews Therin and Bilal. Do you know who the other 3, or can you guess? Chat, if you know who they are, now's your time to throw in your guesses.
I don't believe one was Samael. One was... Shit, man. You can't fucking throw this at me.
You can do it.
Well, obviously, Demandred.
Billy Bob Thornton was not a Blade Master in the Age of Legends.
He totally was. So we got Demandred, one of the Blade Masters.
Demandred.
Robin.
No. Robin is not a Blade Master, according to our sources.
Then, well, I mean, that means it's got to be, then it has to be Samael and Asmodean.
No, not Asmodean.
No, then I have no idea.
Ishamael.
Huh. Interesting. Yep. Yeah.
So you've got Bilal, Lews Therin, Samael, Demandred, and Ishamael. And we know Demandred was because he kicked the shit out of everybody on the battlefield. He even wounded Lan Mandragoran quite well. But as we know from all of us who have read New Spring, you don't stop when you've lost, you stop when you're dead. And that's how Lan wins. He also delivers one of the greatest lines in the series, is that I didn't come here to win. I came here to
kill you.
Love it so much. So Bilal says to Lews Therin, hey, let's bring back the sword fighting. And it's those 5 that ascend, that we know of, right? That ascend to the rank of Blade Master. But Bilal has another super fun sort of claim to fame, right? And that's that one time, he defeated Lews Therin in a game of stones.
Ooh.
One time. One
time.
You know what he is?
You know what? Here's the thing. You know what? Here's the thing. This one time, I killed Beth. Killed Beth as Sombra in Overwatch. I'm fucking badass. That's all I'm saying.
That is exactly the energy.
I deserve
That's the
Kalendor.
exact energy of this thing. It's like that kid that wants to play Connect 4 like 500 times, and you finally like make a mistake because you're tired, and he's focused, and he wins, and you're like, good job, you won. The score is now 401. And the kid's like, yeah, but I got one. And that's Bilal.
Yeah.
He's like, I got one.
Like I did it that one time, that one day, that 1 hour, like when it was really important.
So now you can't say, yeah. Good, you won. Now go to bed.
Not go to bed.
He's like, I beat you one time, and it's like, yeah, good job. Like scoreboard. Oh shit, I love it. And then of course, as his namesake suggests, he becomes during the War of Power, he becomes a general fighting for the side of the light. You're right, Commissioner Smack. I'll bet he absolutely could throw a football over those mountains if only he could just transport back to 1982. And Beth with the smoke.
You know what, Beth? This show doesn't go all night long. Okay. I will be on your stream as well. I'm just saying.
He was still a very accomplished strategist, and in the case of Lews Therin Telamon, defeating him once in stones is actually kind of a flex. Like, I don't know that there are many other people who did that, right? He was a general and a tactician on the side of the light. Once his relationship with Lews Therin began to sour, he eventually forsook the light and became one of the Forsaken, and was, ended up sealed in Shyle Ghul with the rest of the Forsaken. But he was was interesting about his campaigns, though, is he had we've discussed this before on the show, where you've got an interesting kind of conundrum, right? You've got Batman versus the Joker. And I don't mean like modern day Batman where you can shoot someone 12 times and be like, he'll live. It'll be fine. I mean like OG Batman, where he refused to kill people. That was like his code, right? You've got the side of the light who wants to fight with honor. They want to fight with due process, with rules of war. And then you've got the Shadow who's like, yeah, fuck your due process, fuck your rules of war. I'm going to come at you with a 3-sided bayonet, and I'm going to throw mustard gas at you, and I'm going to use nerve agent. I don't care about any of this. And so this puts the side of the light at an extreme disadvantage. And Bilal is one of those, because of the depth of his tactical capabilities. He immediately recognizes the imbalance between the two tactical styles and embraces the more cruel, painful, dark sort of tactics, and it gains him significant results in the campaign against the light.
So, in other words, he was a lawyer on the battlefield.
He was also a lawyer on the battlefield.
God damn, man.
He was
so
actually
really,
one of the
he was less a Joker, and he was more like he was more, I would say, like Two-Face, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, because Two-Face started out as a DA.
Yep.
Harvey Dent was a prosecutor.
I mean, yeah. I mean, he was a prosecutor, but yeah.
But still, like attorney is
yeah.
the same type of, yeah.
But he was a good man. He was a good man. Turned bad.
Good man. He was a good
man. Wonder what happens when you turn a good man.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan?
Do I really look like a guy with a plan?
Dude, Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker is probably
Right.
is still my favorite.
I'm
Up
running
there
out.
next to him, though, Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm looking forward to the sequel where Joaquin Phoenix is wine. I got that wrong. Sorry. A DA is not a prosecutor. No, but
DA would
I'm
be a
excited
defense
for the
attorney.
Joker Part 2, where Joaquin Phoenix will be reprising the role of the Joker, and Lady Gaga will be playing Harley Quinn.
Who is a fantastic actress.
Fantastic. Interesting thing though, this one's really fun, and I want to highlight this really quick, simply because we've made a point to talk about. We actually did. We put Luz Theron on trial, okay, and Luz Theron led the 100 Companions. We know the basic story, right? We know the propaganda. Luz Theron led the 100 Companions against the boar, against the Dark One. The backlash taints Sidene, and men become insane with the taint, right? Well, here's the thing, and they even highlight this in the show. In the show, they're like, "You can't do that. You can't do that, Luz Theron. It's folly." Well, in the books, if you read carefully what happens, Luz Theron wanted to do that. He was told no. He was told, wait till the Choden Call are completed. And once the Choden Call are completed, then we will have our nuclear deterrent to use against the Shadow. A city falls, and it's that city that holds the keys to the Choden Call. Bilal is one of the ones who led that battle against the city thought to hold the keys of the Choden Call. Now, they were unable to capture the keys of the Choden Call, but the forces of the light didn't know that at the time. And it put them in a state of desperation and frenzy. And that's why Luz Theron was not only able to gain support to go and attack the Dark One at his prison, but managed to actually pull it off. Because, there's he managed to pull it off, because there's always people that are like diehard. There'll be like ride or die. Let's go, Luz Theron. But then there's going to be people at the door, like guards and such. They're like, hey, you guys can't do this. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. And he didn't have to deal with that. When he gathered up his forces, went out to the boar, everybody was like, yeah, dude, like, we can't really stop you. We don't really have a good reason to stop you. So it wasn't arrogance that led to Luz Theron's tainting of Sidene, and it wasn't Luz Theron that tainted Sidene. It was desperation. And which, again, Wine bringing the smoke in the chat, and he's saying, look, it's not, in the show, it was Luz Theron being like, everything's so great, I can make it better. I could just kill the devil. And it's like, unnecessary, my guy. You have no reason to care about this. And this is one of the things that I love that Bilal is one of the ones that pushed them into that sort of desperation. I think that's actually a really cool aspect of this story. I need a drink.
Indeed.
I can see you're deep in thought, sir. You're stroking your illustrious beard.
I'm caught up on trying to figure out the Blade Master thing.
Oh. What did you find?
A lot of it. There is no direct evidence of it, but
there is no.
What it is that there is more than just killing a Blade Master. There is more than just beating a Blade Master. You do have to be, along with those things, recognized by another Blade Master.
Well, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I said. You have to be recognized by like 6 Blade Masters.
It's a combination of everything. So So based on oral history, that would have
Yeah,
been
oral.
oral, would have been passed down along. Basically, like, well, I mean, I just beat you, dude, like 20 times in a row. That probably means like I'm like a master of you and stuff. And it'd be like, fine, yeah, you're a blade master, I suppose. Like, but I'm a blade master too, right? Yeah, of course, dude. And it just kind of keeps going.
The two drunk dudes that Bilal or that Luz Theron witnessed, one was like, "Bro, I beat you. I'm gonna get a Heron tattoo."
Listen, Luz Theron and Bilal were the two people who brought back blade mastering. They're the two guys who learned Taekwondo in Indonesian or some stupid shit, came back and opened up their own studio. That's what they did. No one else had like had a studio in that town, so of course they were the masters. And then they decided who else was masters. Okay, that's it. That's all it was. It was bro culture the entire way.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Like until we get Chafail, like no women used swords. Okay, so do you see other men? Like it was totally a bro culture thing, and everyone knows what bro cultures do. Like they're the reason that we have like a 40-year-old running tag game. Okay, like that's all I'm saying.
So did I tell you about the time my buddy and I were in a debate on which sword is better, and I almost took out his eye? Have you been around for that story? I've told that story before, I think. For those of you who just tuned in and haven't heard that story, I in my first apartment I had and your story about two drunk guys took these swords down off the wall and decided to have a sword fight. Yeah, that's exactly what we did. Only we weren't drunk; we were stupid. And I had a like a just a hand and a half sword and a rapier, right? And he was like, no, the hand and a half sword is better because it's got more power behind it. You can get more powerful with it. You can. That's what I did earlier. Your camera did that earlier.
Weird. That's odd.
And so he argued that the hand and a half was better. I argued that the rapier was better, and I was like, no, the rapier is better because it's faster. And he was like, yeah, but it's not a cutting weapon. With the broadsword, I can cut and stab. You can only stab. And I was like, okay, I see your point. But you're not faster than a rapier. So we decided to have a duel.
Mm-hmm,
and I will say I won the duel, but it was we were like going at it, boom, 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 boom. And I remember coming in like to the side, right? And he like blocked, and I came in underneath the bottom, and he blocked again, and I was like, okay, he blocked, and he came down on top of my sword. I was like, I'm gonna use my momentum and flick the sword up, and I was like, I'm gonna stop at his throat and be like, haha, you, the fight is mine, sir. The sword did not stop at his throat. It went right up his face, and he had a perfect. Like he puts his hand over his eye like this and starts screaming, ah! And I'm like, what is going on here? Let me see. Oh my God. We're panicking, right? There's blood dripping down his face. And I'm like, oh my God, did I just like cut out my friend's eye? This is horrible. And he finally takes his hand away and he goes, oh my God, there's blood all over my hand. And I'm like, okay, but your eye is fine. Like I can see his eye. Okay. How old were we, Wine? I want to say like 18, 19. So, dumb. And he had a perfect line. Here we go. You ready? He had a perfect line that went up his face. Right there. Like it was from the bottom of the cheekbone, top of the forehead, and even had a line on his eyelid. That's how close he was to losing an eye. And we had to go to work that night. We were waiters. And he had a big fucking cut down his face. It looked like, if you've seen Zorro from One Piece, that's what it looked like. It looked like that, only he still had his eye. And yeah,
nice.
It was a panicky moment. It was a panicky moment. So then Bilal
The question is,
Sealed in the bore. What?
actually, no, never mind. Yeah, well, actually, no.
Okay. Look, Wine, you're not wrong.
He's not wrong. You know why?
You know why? Story for years. We told that story for years. I'm still telling that story. It's more
true.
than 20 years later, and I'm still telling that story.
Because you know what Evil Knievel says? Bones heal, chicks dig scars. Pain is temporary, but glory is forever.
Glory is forever.
Glory is forever. So you just got to embellish that story just a little bit, because like there's no glory in that story. So just like gotta got into this sword fight, baby.
Oh, okay, but here's the thing.
Pull the sword off the wall. I'm just saying. Yeah, I mean, I had to save my friend's life. My brother, he's a brother, my brother in Christ from another mother. I just am saying, like he was being attacked, and I had to pull the sword. My brother in the light from another mother. If it wasn't for me, he'd be dead right now. And you just got to back him up. What can you say? You give him a scar.
Back him up.
You can't not back him up. You got to add a little glory to that story.
Here's the thing. We were waiters, and he told that story all night, and I'm pretty sure he was using that story to milk for tips. And guess what? I don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit.
Nope.
It's good times.
Good times.
But getting back to Bilal, so we know all this about him. He ends up getting sealed in the bore. He comes out of the bore. Immediately, he's like, "Oh hell yeah! These people are simpletons." He is what's his face from Idiocracy? Luke Wilson. Is it Luke Wilson?
Yeah. Yep, Luke Wilson.
He's Luke Wilson from Idiocracy. He wakes up and everybody's stupid except for him, and he's like, "Cool." Immediately inserts himself as one of the High Lords of Tyr, and just like chills. He's just like, bam, this is great. And he
compulses all the High Lords into believing that he is a lord of the land called Lord Salmon. And then becomes a High Lord himself. And like obviously compulsion will make people do things, right? And it's just like, this is what's so funny to me always about the Forsaken, and which is why the female Forsaken in the story are always a little better technically in technicalities, right? Because they're not sitting out there just like fucking taking over. They're being subtle about their shit.
Right.
Like,
well, they understand politics. Like all of them do.
Like, Samara, like, inserted herself as the truth speaker, which is actually a politically good move, but it's still pretty out there on strategy, right? Because that's like, at that point, they knew that Rand sometimes knew Lews Therin stuff. So, like, and it didn't seem like she hit herself with Mask of Mirrors. So, like,
yeah, no, I like that. And it's interesting too, because the way that Bilal ended up dying was he basically got into a duel with Rand. Depending on his abilities over Rand as a swordsman to win the day. Even though in the Age of Legends, he acknowledged Lews Therin as the better swordsman, right? But he was betting that Rand hadn't learned as much about the sword, hadn't connected with Lews Therin, et cetera, et cetera. And as a result, in his distraction, Moiraine saves Rand's ass by bale firing Bilal. And I want to wrap up here, because we've had this debate back and forth, and I don't know that it's ever been sufficiently settled. Okay? But according to the what.fandom.com, Bilal began forcing Rand to claim Kalandor. Ultimately, Moraine saved Rand by killing Bilal with balefire. Burned away from the pattern before his death, Bilal was now out of reach, even for the Dark One.
Yes.
And we've had other accounts of balefire saying, that's cool. Like it's not that big a deal. So, thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for sucking down this week's delicious dose of spicy hot taint. Sexy Morshadi, who are you? Where are you from? And where can the people find you if they want to hear your melodious voice?
Well, right now, I'm spending a lot of my time on the Beth Doman Twitch channel.
What?
So if you go to Beth Doman on Twitch or TikTok, if that's your fancy, my personal projects involve currently. I am doing 2 podcasts. One I can talk about. That is my More Shoddy Reads podcast, where I read. Well, I was reading things like short stories in the public domain. My first episode was Aesop's Fables, which was nice.
Nice.
Right. My second story, on the other hand, something about my voice. People like my voice.
You do have a good voice, though.
On Beth's TikTok and their Twitch, and the TikTok challenged me because they got to a certain point. They challenged me to read some smut,
some spicy books,
some spiciness, and so I did. My second episode was some spicy content. So if you do want to listen to that, I have a podcast episode, and it is the podcast is called More Shoddy Reads. You can download that. You can also see it on my YouTube page. That is you can just go to any one of my various locations of social media, and my link tree is there. You'll see an old podcast of TTRPG stuff that's kind of on hiatus at the moment. Otherwise, I'm just kind of hanging around everywhere. I have another podcast that will be coming out soon, but we haven't announced it yet.
Ooh, and just so you guys know,
it is a Wheel of Time podcast.
Nice.
That's all I'm going to say right now. And we've recorded 1 episode.
I am, and as we speak, I am updating to More Shoddy RPG in the description there. So we are joined by More Shoddy RPG. Bam! More Shoddy.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate you comes to record with me in my time of need, and that's what I appreciate about you.
What in español?
And I thank all of our listeners for liking and subscribing to the channel, because that helps us out. It's a free way to help us out. Just click on that like button, click on the subscribe button. We love it. You love it. You're gonna love it. From all of us out here at the Black Tower Podcast, to all of you out there, wherever you are, I have been your Sorvan Mihail Josh. We hope you have enjoyed this episode of the Black Tower Podcast. Sexy Morshadi has one more thing to say.
I have one more thing to say for he who comes to the wine. I don't know if I could do a Rueda del Tiempo en Español podcast. Ooh. That would be interesting to do, though. I'd have to think about that. I don't know if I could do an entire podcast episode in Spanish, but...
Lo siento, señor, no habla español.
No, hablo español. Es mi primera lengua.
No.
But I don't know if I could do the whole thing. I don't know. I'll think about it.
Yo quiero carnitas y carne asada.
I'm going to have to take a look at that because my camera's being weird. I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, it happened again. But we hope that wherever you are in this world, you leave here just a little bit more tainty and a little bit more insane than you were when you first got here. And from all of us here at the Black Tower, Sexy Morshadi has been sexy. And I have been tainty. So Yeah.